Alright, so I'm coming back here on the boat this morning and I'm taking a look at the front hatch here for the anchor locker. Alright, welcome back to another episode of Neon Swell. Thanks everybody for tuning in. If you missed last episode, I started to build an outside rail for the boat to make it appear like it's a little bit of a better quality. I used some pouring foam to test out my abilities and make a little mold so that I can sand down and fiberglass over it with 1708. Of course, I always make a few mistakes, but nothing a little jigsaw can't take care of. So after putting a few layers of 1708 over top of this, I grind it down and sand it to spec. So if you're new to my channel, this is a 22-foot sailboat which I purchased off of Craigslist in absolutely terrible condition. I spent the last 2 years redoing and refitting the entire boat with the intention to sail to the Bahamas and maybe around Florida, but we'll just see where that goes. So if you'd like to follow the adventure, please just hit that subscribe button. And if you want to see this adventure grow even quicker, then you can head over to Patreon and become a member of this team. Any donations will be greatly appreciated. I also have a store, neonswell.com/store, where you can purchase some product, which will also help support the build and the adventure. Thanks again for watching, and I hope you enjoy this episode. Alright, so I'm back on the boat after taking a few weeks off here. I was waiting for some components to come in for the front that I've been working on over the last month. As you can see here, I have a bow roller, a Lumar bow roller that's going to go at the very top of that oak plank over there. And then I've also ordered a hatch for the anchor locker that I'm going to place probably right around there, so I'm able to access the chain and the rope that's going to go there. And then last but not least, the navigation light for the port and starboard also came in. I'm going to go ahead and add that up to the front as well. So let's go ahead and take care of some of that and see what we can do right now. So as you can see, I have some of the lines drawn out for the top anchor locker. Let's go ahead and move that LED navigation light. So I'm going to put this anchor locker right around there. I have to go ahead and cut the hole for that. And then the navigation light is going to go, I think right around here is the best placement. So I'll have the anchor locker, which will fold up this way, and then the navigation light there. And then this bow roller here is going to go at the very top. I think it's going to be maybe best right there. And I'll go ahead and reinforce this oak plank from the bottom side. So that seems to be the best layout that I've come across, the most symmetrical, and I think that'll fit this boat fairly well. So you can see exactly why I ran into so many issues with the jigsaw and having to go through so many blades. I was trying to cut through multiple layers that I had previously put up, and starting with the 1708 on the bottom and then working my way up with the balsa core that I had put up, or Ryan and I had put up in some of the previous episodes. And then on top of that was the fiberglass for the top deck, and then sandwiched between the new bow oak pulpit was a layer of thickened epoxy, and altogether that thing was super hard to cut through. Now I eventually move on to clean up the edges with the circular saw and make the hole just a perfect sized opening for the new hatch. I do have to take into consideration the curvature of the deck, which I will address in some upcoming clips, and what I end up doing is taking some thickened epoxy and kind of molding the new hatch to its location, and just filling in that curvature with the thickened epoxy, but you'll get a better idea of what I'm doing real soon. Alright, so I'm coming back here on the boat this morning, and I'm taking a look at the front hatch here for the anchor locker. As you may have seen yesterday, I went ahead and created this epoxy mold for the front locker that will go ahead and make this sit pretty flush against the hull and make up for the bow and the top deck. So I'm going to go ahead and put some 5200 underneath this and drill this in. So hopefully we can finish this off today and then start taking a look at the front inside bulkhead for the anchor locker. Alright, so I just finished putting everything together for the front hatch and cleaned up all the silicone around it. I'm going to go ahead and take care of the inside bulkhead. So as you can see, the front bulkhead for the anchor locker had to be cut in half in order to fit between the two shelves that I had already epoxied in. Now you can also see the new anchor locker hatch and how much room I have to work with up front. And you can may also notice up here to the left, the conduit for the electrical will go right through the anchor locker. So once this is all in place, it'll be a watertight bulkhead and keep everything up at the front for the anchor locker. So I'm gonna go ahead and epoxy both of these pieces in now. So the audio for this clip was extremely echoey and destroyed, so what I'm explaining here is I'm going to hot glue these two pieces together so that they kind of just temporarily fit until I can get the thickened epoxy in there and let it get a little tacky so that I can lay some fiberglass panels over top of that. Alright, so I got about halfway done with the front bulkhead for the anchor locker yesterday. I started running into some issues here with it being really flimsy, and if you can see, I kind of placed it into its spot and didn't really secure it, so I was hoping that the thickened epoxy would act as some sort of glue, but it kept moving around on me, so I'm going to go ahead and finish fiberglassing that in today. I got most of it on this side and all the way down at the bottom. I'm going to sand that down, and then I have to do the top. It's really hard for me to get a camera in there, but I still have a crack along the top. Alright, so I'm about to fiberglass the remaining cracks on the front bulkhead for the anchor locker, and while I was sitting here thinking about what I had to do, I found a piece of scrap Divinacell, and I started thinking that I could use this as a front main shell for various electronic components. So I'm going to go ahead and fit that in here now and see if we can cut this down to size, and then maybe fiberglass this right after I finish fiberglassing and filling the remaining cracks for the anchor locker bulkhead. So let's go ahead and take care of that. I'm going to go ahead and let that dry while I work on the inside of the anchor locker on the other side of the boat. So as we learned before, the inside of the anchor locker was extremely hard to get a camera in, so I didn't film anything else. I finished up everything that day, and it dried really strong, so that front bulkhead will now be the new place for the anchor locker, and I was able to save a ton of room. Yeah, that wraps up this episode. I thank you all again for watching, and if you haven't already, be sure and hit that subscribe and like button, and if you want to visit our store, Neon Swell /store on the way out, that would be awesome. We have a bunch of product on there that will continue to help support this build. Thanks again for watching, and be sure and come back for next episode where we do a little bit of something else besides boat work.